back to punk rock, and it's all about inspiration. We're only here really on this planet to inspire each other if we can. I mean, why else would we be here? You know, we're here to do stuff, and it's just important just not to be a consumer all your life. You have to do something, even if it's just even if it's writing in your notebook. But then, like I said, try and make a cheap zine.
And it's almost like stealing. I'm going to take that boldness, I'm going to take that entitlement, and I'm going to make it mine and my communities. And we are going to be specific, just a bold and entitled, period. Just like you. We're going to use your tools. And to me, that is post-fight in some way. It's post-activist. We just declare the fight over is how we win.
Well, I would say in this season of my life, I'm doing film and music. I've had the opportunity to direct a full feature documentary, a poetic documentary. I think it's a responsibility for us, being that I'm born and raised in San Francisco, and seeing the impact that these things, like gentrification, for example, has had in my community and my friends and my family. I feel like we don't want to wait. I want to be able to tell our story, not wait for some big company to come in and try to exploit our stories. Or it's important for us to document what we're experiencing as a people here.
Everything that we're doing in art or in culture or history or archiving is really about documenting the human, our common human experience in this world.
Our founders were inspired by the civil rights movement. There were activists who wanted a place for Chinese American arts and culture. Today, our mission is to uplift underserved communities and be a voice for equality, rooted in our work in Chinatown as a immigrant working class neighborhood, but that builds power and solidarity with other communities of color through our work in arts and education.
I imagine so many other arts, it's like the art itself has to be birthed and come alive again in every generation. It can't be the same thing, and if we do it well, it will have the same flavors as the recipes of our ancestors. It might look a little different, it might have some different ingredients, but it will have that core flavor if we do that successfully.
The other idea I had was this whole thing about storytelling, because in therapy, there is a certain approach called narrative psychology. And that approach is basically looking at what are the stories you're telling yourself and how is that affecting how you act. And what we find in a lot of cases that the stories that we have developed because of what other people have told us, because of the circumstances that we're in, we think that those are the story. And part of the process of healing is getting people to learn how to retell their stories. And certainly art is a way of doing that. And so encouraging people to be more expressive in how they are seeing themselves and how they tell their stories is very important.
People receive the medicine in different ways. Much has to do with touching earth and reaching the sky. You know, we are just reminding people that that's what we're doing, right? And we're stronger for having that connection between heaven and earth.
What we're doing, the aspects of Ramaytush culture we think are the essence of what we are, which is basically what Creator told us to do. Take care of the land and take care of all the living things on it. That we think is pretty ubiquitous across all communities in California, and still holds true even after 250 years of colonialism, genocide, and oppression. It's still true. Those fundamental sacred instructions have not changed, and we just need to learn how to do it in a different way in the Ramaytush homeland, and then hopefully share with that other people and imbue them with that desire to do the same thing.